Welcome everybody to True Confessions of a Car Guy. Here we are. It's the end of the month, and we decided to take a few minutes and to talk about end of the month stories and some of the headaches and drama that goes on at this time of the month. So, alongside me is John Gavin, the host, and let's just jump into it. End of the month. It's a pretty stressful time for a lot of dealers out there.
Yeah, it's crazy because September has notoriously been the worst month of the selling month of the year for us. And it all started way back in the day when kids went back to school on Labor Day or right after, So parents were getting ready. They'd be back to school. So Labor Day is usually the second or third. And I always knew that because it's right around my birthday. And it knew that month was going to be slow. In the luxury market, it seemed to be real shit. But anyhow, that changed about 3 years ago, and kids started going back to school like middle of August, third week August, last week August, first week of September. So they fucked up August for us too. So now you got 2 months in a row where you got parents getting everybody ready for school, and it really takes away a lot of our sales. So end of the month, today's September 30th. It's so important that I was just talking to a guy. You were listening to me talk there. Here's a guy. He's sick. He barely sounds like he's coherent. He worked a 9 to 9 today. He's sick as a dog. But you don't go home until the last deal because it's so important to get every single deal counted. So I can remember working for Gulf Mill Ford, and Joe McQuillan was the GM. Awesome dude, one of the best guys I ever worked for and with. And Joe would have this pending list. And what it was is we'd make a joke of it, pending list, and we'd have to go he'd look at every deal because we wanted to count them, and we'd go through the pending list. What is this one missing? What is this one? Well, in between the pending list, me, Joe, my buddy Ray Lefevre, who, if you need a Ford, go see Ray Lefevre. What's Ray's Ford dealer at the south side of Chicago? McCarthy Ford. If you need a Ford, go see Ray at McCarthy Ford. But Ray Lefevre, my brother Pat, we're out and back playing touch football under the lights. So we're pending list, so we go get the deals. But I was a used car manager. I don't even know if I was a manager. I had something to do with used cars. But most of the time, because the finance guys are the guys who really are buried the last day of the month, because they got to get all those deals out, got to get them reported. The sales managers for new cars especially, they got to get those reported. But we're out there under the lights. We move all the cars out of the way, and we're playing touch football. We played till 3 o'clock in the morning, closing the month, because it was so important to get every deal. You got 15 guys still there at 3 a.m. Yeah, we're playing football, but we were making sure every deal was buttoned up. We had all the docs. We had everything reported because that was it. Now, when I worked for Toyota, and I don't know if it's still like this because I'm not affiliated with anybody who has Toyota, but they closed, I think, the first Tuesday of the following month. And that was like normal. You had, let's say, the month end was 30th today. Like today, it's what's today? Today's Tuesday. So I don't know if they still do it, but I think it was the first Tuesday of the next month is when they closed reporting. So every month, these guys would be, you really have a couple extra days. In this case, I guess it would be a week if they still do that. I don't know. But yeah, when I worked for Toyota, we'd be, last day of the month be a Saturday. Well, deals Monday and Tuesday still counted. So all the salespeople would be calling people all day, all weekend. Then we'd get out of there on a Saturday, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, because they wanted to get as many deals that we could get by that Tuesday reporting date. So yeah, end of the month is really hectic in the car dealership, and it's not a day you want to miss. You miss the last day of the month. I mean, most dealerships, when I was running a store, working at a store, you didn't get your day off on the last week of the month. You didn't get a day off. You had to work that day because it was so important to close the month. And if your day off fell on the last day of the month, forget about it. But you didn't get a day off. There's plenty of places, and the 50 places that I've worked at, I would say more than half of them, you would lose your day off the last week of the month because closing the month's so important. Now, I think they still have the same stress and the same drive to get those numbers in as they did when I sold cars and when I was in it. Remember, I've been really out of the car business since 2014. So since 2014, I went to work for Cox, and then from that, actually 2012, I would say, because I worked for Marcus. So it was just used cars, and you don't have any reporting that you got to worry about when you're just doing used cars. Nobody gives a shit how many used cars you sold. We just wanted to beat CarMax every month. That was our goal at those stores. But yes, I gotta believe that today, everybody's there. They're ordering in lunch, they're ordering in dinner. They don't want nobody to leave. They're trying to get every deal they can. So, I mean, you work at a store.
It's
crazy today, right?
Yeah, it's a little different now. I think, like we talked about before, you were living in a different time. You want to retain workers. We have actually 2 guys on vacation, believe it or not. So,
that shit wouldn't fly when I was working.
Yeah, and so then you know what? You can't, to keep it fair, the guys that are helping them, it's a split deal. There's no, if someone's going to be helping them,
of course,
you do a split deal, and so. And it's changed. It's funny though, watching that dance of the managers on the phones, telling the customer, "Can we include it for this month?"
Yeah,
Put it on the books, and then when you come in on Saturday, which is the 5th, we'll go ahead and deliver the car. But can we put it on the books, because that way, there's goals and objectives that need to be met, and they're asking customers, "Can we?" I mean, it's it's a last minute push, but to get things on the books and to
customers, they used to, we advertise to customers that, today's the day, but we'll make a deal any day, the same deal. But there are times when it gets to that count, when you're down to that last car. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, because I got tons of friends who still run stores, and I go through a lot of cars. I've been in South Carolina, 4 years now, 5 years. I'm on my 4th car myself. My wife's already been through 3. So I'm on their list that if you need a deal and it's that time of that you need that one deal to hit X amount to do what, I'm one of their phone calls. And everybody has guys like that they know that they'll call. When I was with BMW downtown, I'm not going to say his name, but I had a very wealthy customer that would sometimes buy 5 cars in a year from me, because if I needed a number to hit, I could always count on him and say, "Hey, you want to come buy a car? I need one more," and he would come and do it. But every GM that I know who's worth his salt has those customers that he knows that he can give a call to if he needs that one car. Or a lot of them today, just the manufacturer let you report loaners, service loaners as sales. So that'll get you your number too. But it is a much different world than it was when it comes to reporting and all that, because you can do it so fast. I mean, it's a click of a button now. Before, we used to have the RDR and we'd be faxing. I mean, I go way back. You'd be faxing shit over. They'd call you and say, "Well, we didn't." You'd actually have, and it might still be going on. I'm just not involved in it, but maybe it is. Guys listening, you can email in or text in or whatever. Let us know if it's still going. But I would have district managers call me and say, "How many more you got? We need this many more. We need." And they'd be working all night. So it was. And it still is. I mean, there's dealers. It's 9:30 Eastern time right now, 9:24. I guarantee there's dealers that are going to be working today till midnight. There's no doubt about it. All over, they're trying to get deals in. So,
and then you also have on the consumer side, there's that myth. I don't, you've been in the business a long time. Like it wasn't, if I go in last minute, I'm going to walk away with the deal. So they wait till 8:59 to walk in the door.
Yeah. I
know you've shared stories about that, walking in at the last minute, knowing that, they need a deal for the end of the month, and they're gonna duke it out to walk away with a deal.
I have to say, I was not a night fighter. We already in the car business, we work so many fucking hours that when a night fighter came in, I would make their life true misery to get their car. I really would. I would, if I knew that that's what their intent was. I mean, there's certain people who would come in not even realizing it. They come in and they don't, like, we're downtown. A lot of dealers close at 8. And a lot of dealers today are closing at 8. Some are staying open till 10 and whatever. But when it was downtown and we closed at 8, I was a lot more lenient on the customer, because most dealers are open till 9. If they're working downtown, and let's say they got stuck, they get done at 5. By the time you get done 6, they eat something, and it's 8 o'clock, and they'd show up at 8 o'clock. Well, I couldn't be as well. But when I was out in Schaumburg or I was in the city and some fucker comes in at 5 to 9 and wants to drive 3 cars, doesn't even know what he wants, I would make their life a living hell. Because, I got guys, they got families too. They got kids, they got wives. It's bad enough that in the car business, we already are working 9 to 9. Back when I worked, you had 3 9 to 9s, you had a 1 to 9 and a day off. And Saturday was 8:30 till sometimes 10 o'clock, at least 6:30, 7. So when you get these night fighters coming in that want to stay, they want to come right when we're closing. In Chicago, we would always put on the loudspeaker, "Oh, it's okay to let the dogs out." And then these people, as they're walking in, they'd hear that and they'd start to think, but you still got them fuckers who don't care. They'll just fucking come in at 5 to 9 and Lily goggling around. What do you got? I want to drive this. I want to drive that. And you always got some salesmen who don't care about that either. And the guy who gets it the worst is the finance guy. So I did look for guys who didn't have families a lot of times that would be my night fighters. Because the truth is, when you got 3 kids at home and you're married and your wife works and maybe she doesn't work, when you're gone from 8 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night and you're still working a deal, it kind of takes the wind out of everybody's sails at home and creates a little friction for guys with families. The guys without them who didn't care, they'd work the deals. I can't tell you how many times when my brother worked for me, it was very common. I would just throw him the keys. All right, I'll see you. Take care of the night fighting. I'm out here. I'm done. Because it's not like we're at work for 8 hours, doing nothing. We're humping. We got a lot of shit going on. So these guys have worked their ass off all day. And yes, okay, some of them, we got breaks where we don't have a customer, but we got a million other things. I don't know how many dealers you got where they're required to make 50 phone calls or send out 30 emails. Or they're always, they're not doing business. I mean, if they are, what do you got them for? You don't need them. So, but the people who usually work with me and for me, they were worker bees, man. They'd be working all day trying to make deals. And that night fighter, I would make them pay because I used to hate it. I really would, especially if you can't even make plans in the car business. You really can't. You can't even do it on a Saturday. You know how many things I missed on a Saturday? You don't get to go see your kids' sports. Now, it's changing a little bit. I noticed ownership in the 7.5 years with Cox. I noticed like the Chicagoland is completely different. Chicago, Florida, New York, New Jersey, they're very similar where you're working 60, 70 hours a week if you're in the car business. But when you go to Wisconsin and Minnesota and Michigan, they don't do that. I mean, Michigan, they close it. They got regular hours. They're like 9 to 6.
Sun up to sundown.
Yeah, something like that. But a lot of them, most states, they have regular hours where they're open 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, or they got one night they open till 8. It's like I've seen that a bunch of times. So, you gotta, I think if we're ever going to turn the car business into something where, because right now, I hate to say it, all of us in the car business, we're different. We're not from Harvard or Yale for sure. And we're not walking in with our college degrees and going, hey, look, I got a BA in economics and shit like that. We're guys from the street or guys who just didn't know what they were going to do, and they end up selling cars, and they made a lot of money, and they stayed, or they made money more than they would if they walked in. I got a degree in economics. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I know that I worked with, or that went to school, and I went to work, and I ended up making a lot more money doing what I was doing. And we draw that guy who doesn't have a choice, kind of, unfortunately. So when the car industry figures out that, hey, maybe we could change ourselves and humanize the job to where, hey, like I can't tell you how many times I've been to 50 jobs. Every one of them, until I got to where I was the cat's meow and I called the shot. And in other words, you fucking need me more than I need you. I didn't get insurance for 90 days. So my wife will tell you, I must have paid Cobra. I thought my insurance was called Cobra. I mean, I had Cobra so many fucking times. But that when they change that, I mean, when you go to work for a big corporation, I worked for two of them, with Marcus Lemonis owning Camping World and Auto Match. That's a big corporation, a lot of people. And you get insurance in all benefits on day one. The only thing you don't get is, I think, 401k. You wait a year. And it's funny when I say 401k, because I only got 401k from 3 places I worked at, because I was there. Like I said, 3 of them I lasted over 5-6 years. But anyhow, otherwise, you don't get insurance for 90 days. So that's got to change. You don't get PTO. When I started at Cox, or maybe it might have been Automatch, I didn't know what PTO meant. I had no idea, because they don't talk about that when you start at a car dealer. Hey, we got PTO. For me, I had no idea what they were talking about most of the time. Or they didn't bring that up. Who am I kidding? So they got to have something like that. The benefits have to be better. And I think you'll attract not like we're bad people, but we do have a lot of habits. I mean, I've said it a million times. You hire a new guy and you got to tell him, hey, by the way, your hours, they're on the wall. That's what you work. And don't worry about holidays, because you're going to be with us for every one. So you don't have to worry about making the cookout. You'll be with us. We're going to cook out. You'll love it. We're going to have sausage or something. It'll be awesome. And then a couple times a week, one of the managers is going to motherfuck you for no apparent reason, because he's either a drinker, drugger, gambler, womanizer, or something. But he's a car guy. That's what it is. So if you can put up with all that, and when you are home, if one of your customers happens to walk in without telling you, you're going to lose half that commission. Don't forget. So until we figure out a way to make it more conducive to that guy who's going to go take that 9 to 5 job, and it might even be to the point where we don't have to pay, because car guys make a lot of money. Now, some of you guys might not want to hear this, but we might be able to pay a little less to get good people, because it costs you more money as a dealer to have turnover. I mean, at one point in Illinois, and somebody will have to check me on this, call me and tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I think around 2015 in the car business, the turnover rate in Illinois was like 305%. Now, that's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, but that's what it was. So, I mean, I've had 50 jobs. I don't leave the jobs. I don't leave them because I want to. It's because of pay circumstances. Well, the same thing happens with salespeople or the quality that we get or managers. It's just a different animal in the Midwest. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good ones. I mean, I can name.
I work for one.
You work for a great one, but
Yeah.
there could be. I can name 20 of them off the top of my head. But don't forget, there's probably 35 just on Gulf Road. So there's a lot of dealers. So to only be able to name 20 that I would go work for, that says something. The guy I work for is a gem, best guy ever. Now I'm part time. I don't really consider myself a car guy anymore because I don't have your stress. I couldn't do what GMs do today. You guys, you got to be a father, a mother, a brother, a pastor, a priest, a bartender, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, all wrapped into one, because you got to walk with kit gloves and you can't say anything. Back when I was again, 2012, probably last time, I could tell the guy, get the fuck out of here. Or I could stick a business card in a guy's mouth and throw him outside. I could threaten him. Nothing would happen. Today, you'll be on the news. I mean, you were telling me it's on the news, or somebody, I don't think it's the news, but on TikTok or YouTube, they're charging customers $50 for information. Well, let me tell you something. That's not new. I caught a couple of my guys charging people 50 to 100 just to walk them around for consultation fees. So that's not something new. But now because there's so much social media, it's out there. Somebody said it. Is it real? I don't know. But I have had to have guys give somebody back a hundo or et cetera because they pulled a fast one. But you can see their point. I mean, when a customer comes in, you know that you're not going to make every deal. You know it. But when you have someone who's over and over and over kept coming in and then they go buy somewhere else, the same thing, and the difference in money is not that much different, because new cars, we all pay the same. Yeah, we charge X and we're okay to. We're allowed to. We there's profit's not a dirty word. We can do anything we want as a dealer. It's on us, and it's the customer. You don't have to. When nobody's putting a gun to your head and saying, "Hey, you got to buy this car. I'm going to charge you 5, 10, 15, 20,000 over." I mean, think about it. You want to go to the Bears game? We were just talking about this. Yeah. Go to the Bears game. Go to Vegas right now. Go look at your tickets. They're double what they were 2 weeks ago. And who are you going to complain to? The pilot? And who are you going to fucking call? So car dealers get such a bad rap as, we're money mongers. Well, we're not. We're just doing what everybody does in every business in the world. It's just, we're under a microscope because we created our own, everything we've done, everything that happens to us, it's our own fault. I mean, it is. So. And
you mentioned before, there's bad eggs out there. People have bad experiences.
Yeah.
And so they like to group everybody into that because of their bad experience. And, that's not the fact. Like I said, I'm grateful. I work for a great, and I think the line between success and failure and turnover, it's organization from the top down, ownership, management, and salespeople, getting, great people and also great car guys making smart decisions. And I think that's when you have that all, and you've led teams yourself. When you have that mix, you're not going to have those issues. And, we have, where I'm at, we have 2 kids with college degrees that graduated college and now they're working for us. And it's like, you joke around. It's like, why'd you even go to college? Just could have came over,
Yeah. Well, I don't even get me started on that. I don't know how any young adult decides what they're going to do for their whole life at 19 years old. How do you figure that out? I'm going to be this. Nobody fucking knows. I mean, yeah, you end up with something. You got parents with some guidance who tell you good way. I never had that luxury, but yeah, the car business is there's no other business I could have done what I've done and been where I'm at today and been able to do for my kids that I've done because you make money in the car business. You reap the benefits. So all those owners that you may not want to work for, they still pay. I mean, you make money in the car business. Unfortunately, now you're under a microscope for every single thing you did. And it was probably the same in the 70s and 80s and 90s. It wasn't on social media while you're making a deal. I mean, I can remember it in 2015 and 14, customers filming their delivery, putting their phone up at the time. I had one customer who took a Coca-Cola can. They did this at home, but they made a stand out of it for their phone, put it on my desk and said, all right, we're going to tape this whole transaction. I was like, okay, whatever. But yeah, so you're under a microscope of every single thing you do. I know there's dealers today that have cameras in the finance offices.
Oh yeah,
because you need that protection. You really do. It's your word against theirs, and you really, when you got good eggs, I don't worry about it. I just don't. I'm very supportive of who works for me. Always, I'll take that bullet. Nobody can do any wrong when you work for me. I will take the bullet from the owner. There's no way you're going to take it. I'm going to do it because it's my fault if it happens. So, but I do have the confidence that the people that you bring in, and it's all over it. I see it today. They know that now, and they're sharper, and there's so many forms to fill out today that it is mistake proof. So, when we go back and we talk about the Jimmy case, it's all nonsense. He didn't do anything different than we've been doing in the car business for 25 years. He made money. He sold a product. He sold the product after he sold the product, which that's what every single business there is. When you buy something, there's all kinds of stuff that goes with it as ads that they try to sell you. I don't care what it is. So, but anyhow, end of the month, it's 8:42 in Chicago. So for most stores, they probably got, I don't know because I'm not involved, but maybe till tomorrow to RDR their cars or report them. So good luck to everybody. I hope you had great months or a great month, even though September always sucks.
Well, this one was, I wanted to bring it up really quick. This one was special, not special, but we all know there was the $7,500 EV tax rebate that expires today. So it expires today, EV credit. And there's a lot of people that want to take advantage because it's uncertain if there's going to be something like that again, just like the comment. That's gone. The $30K that they had for that's gone. Yeah. Now they have to, so now there's a race and of people who are, they're racing to, take advantage of a best offer to take advantage of that rebate because it may not be around. So that was challenging because, the phones and emails, everything coming in about rebate. They want to take advantage of the rebate. So
that's supply and demand. Make them sticks. Supply and demand, because if today's the last day, you got the advantage. Advantage dealer. One for us.
Yeah, so we'll see what the future holds. But it was an interesting.
I've gotten it. I've had the Acura and I've had the Jeep, both with the EV. Like I said, I've had so many cars. I've had one of each of those. I'm in an EV now. The Wrangler. What the fuck's it called? Jeep Wrangler, whatever the electric one is, hybrid. It gets 38 miles electric, so I don't really consider it electric. My other one was all electric, the Acura. Isn't it funny? I've been in the car business so long, I still don't know shit about them. Couldn't tell you nothing. I can tell you how many were sold. I can tell you how fast they're going to sell. I can tell you how much it should be. But I can't tell you anything else. I can't even tell you what they're called. Anyhow, hey, it was good talking to you.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to try to get Kevin Caton on. I don't know if you're familiar with Kevin Caton. I think he's one of the best credit rebuilders in the business. I mean, anybody who had a credit issue, couldn't get a car, this is the guy. He's been doing this since we worked together in 1985 at Lynch Buick, and he left and went to Thomas Pontiac. I don't know, you probably might not be old enough to remember the mom made cookies and said, come get they'd make fresh cookies at the joint. He's been at the same place for 30 years or 25 years at that place doing just rebuilding credit. So anybody who because a lot of people had hard times. It's happened to the best of us.
It's coming back because some of those COVID loans are starting to.
Oh yeah, I figured that would blow up eventually. But he's to me the best in the business, and he works with me now, and I love him. He's got some funny stories. But we're gonna try to get him on next, and then we're gonna talk with Mike Kuhn, who's a BDC guy like yourself, but he knows a lot about the AI and how it's working with service and sales, etc. So I want to pick his brain a little bit. But until then, it's over. Now, forget the way the car business works is, what have you done for me lately? Tomorrow it starts all over. Nobody gives a shit what you did in September. Now it's October, motherfucker. Get to work.
And the start of a new quarter.
And a quarter. But again, what have you done for me lately? So, Adios, amigos.
See you guys next time. Follow us online up above at our website. And see you next time.